So we have an epidemic actually here in America, especially, unfortunately, you've been hearing this a lot in our community. And it's the cold, it's the blade. Pete, you know what I'm talking about, the blade, you can call it, they call it the track, they call it the whole stroll, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to say the blade culture, right? And we know women on the blade, they trade, sex for money. That's it. And everybody understand that. Well, we have that same mindset permeated inside of American culture. And this is why a lot of things are so transactional. No different than if you went to holler at a woman on the blade. At least on the blade, if you paid for something, you definitely getting something out of it. But the interesting part about the blade culture in America, you'll be paying for a whole lot more than probably what you paid on the blade. And a lot of you say you don't get nothing out of it. Now, I want you to listen to what this young woman out of Atlanta says.
Yeah, I'm really done dating for love and trying to really find love. I'm dating for them racks. Like, I'm being honest, this something that Atlanta saw me break they spend all their money until they got no more to spend on and dip and go to the next one. Because these waste your time for all these. What am I getting out of that? Spend that money. This all you can do for me. Spend the money, pay my bills, do something. I don't even want you to like me, love me. Just spend them racks.
A lot of them have relegated themselves to prostitutes. That's what a prostitute would say. And also, men, when you hear them talk like this, they're broke. And I want you to really get in your head to get really offended by little broke women like that. Because if you need a man to pay all this stuff for you, what do you do for yourself? What do you do? And let's call it what it is. You got this much of a window at your age. Every day that's passing, you're getting older. And it's going to be some new little woman that's going to look just like you. I'm talking about the area of youth that's going to show up. And when you're in that blade culture, in that blade situation, youth is the prize. The 21, 22-year-old is the prize. As that same little woman get 30, she's not going to be looked at the same as the 21-year-old. Because if guys is going to be paying, they're going to be paying for the one that's in their prime. They're not going to be paying for ones 30, 35. They're just not going to be paying. Now, of course, dusty, broke dudes, low-level dudes, that's simpish, they'll pay for anything. They don't care, okay? Let me not say that. But we're talking about what she's saying, Atlanta, the things she's talking about. She's probably online looking at other women who's out there on S304 somewhere, traveling, all that. Say, I need to do the same thing because what they do, they make being a 304 glamorous, right? And they think their lifestyle is just so great. So they say, hey, I want to do the same thing. So yeah, I'm going to run their money. And if I get money here, money there, and then you taking a man's money, as a man, I can tell you that's a dangerous situation you're being in because, men have harmed and even unalived other men behind their money. And we have covered stories in the past where men have unalived women for running their pockets, right? Prime example, I still never forget that story, Mercedes Moore. Never forget that story. That she was running that simp's pockets, and that simp came over there, and she didn't want to do nothing, so the simp took her life. Y'all got to be real careful playing that game with men, because some of these men are on rap too tight that y'all taking money from. And anybody that got some common sense would told you'll silly behind that. So play that game if you want to. But to you, the moment they just quickly asking you for money, just say, what you do for a living? I need you fellas on first dates to ask them what they do for a living. And once you hear what they do for a living, you need to be researching real quick would they get paid. Not because you want their money, but you need to know if they even got money. Because if they broke, they ain't got nothing going on, that's going to be the ones the quickest asking you for money. Now, she got money, but what I've seen, women that make their own money, they don't need you for that nothing, really. They don't. They're not going to be asking for things constantly. They make their own. And if a woman is asking you for money constantly and she making her own, it sounds like she's running through her money and she has a broke mentality because she may not be broke on her paycheck, but her mentality and spending habits are broke. So the faster she get it, faster she spend it. She'll get a BMW or Mercedes, but not counting the cost of maintenance. That's that old broke mentality. Instead of being wise and go and get something like a Honda or a Toyota, you know what I'm saying? Or, I guess if she want to step it up, a Lexus, something like that. Maybe Acura, Infinity, whatever. She want to step it up. But you got to pay attention to that too. What are their spending habits? They can have a $1,200 a month car note. You don't even know about it. So she broke. So that's probably why she asking you for money. one maintenance bill on that BMW or that Mercedes that she's riding around with, and she can't afford to fix it. I've seen so many women cry about Mercedes and BMW, and I'm like, anybody could have told you about them cars who know anything about cars. If you don't know anything about cars, shoot, get ChatGPT. They'll tell you about the maintenance on certain cars and the longevity, but don't ever give them a dime. But, today you dudes a little different. I ain't gonna lie. I've seen it. Y'all was sending them money on Cash App like it ain't nothing. I'm like, yeah, a lot of what's contributed to a lot of it too, I really believe, and we don't talk about this enough, the biggest problem with the men today, the young men today, is single mothers. They grew up with a mother and no father, and so they mother taught them to just give women stuff, right? And because they have no man to balance that out, that's why they do what they do today. So you have this simp trick culture going on with a lot of the men, but you got to think about it. When you start doing the research on most of these men and find out how they grew up, most of them grew up with a single mother. Because the men that grew up with a father, he has more self-esteem and self-respect, and he know I can't buy no woman. That's not nothing I can do. If I'm gonna buy her, I might well just go to the blade and go buy a woman. That's what I'm gonna go do. At least I know I'm gonna get something out of it. But just trying to buy this woman, give her this, give her that, give her this, give her that, and she's talking to 5, 6, 7 other different dudes. Now she want to talk to different dudes. That's her business. But you don't be the dummy that gave her 2 cents. But it only comes from when you really have a father in your life, or you got some certified men around you to put you on game, like maybe your uncle. Maybe some cousins or some older dude that's putting you on game because your dad ain't around. But if you ain't had that, that's what that trick culture come from too. But a woman talking like that,